So there was a start, and I was given my grandmother was given custody of me, and I lived with my grandmother for about 2 months, and we went to court again. And when we went to court, they felt like my grandmother just let me like do whatever I want. I'm not sure how. My grandmother is a grandmother. She's, in the house before the lights come on. No cell phone. Late when I say I had to turn my cell phone off and leave it in the hallway on the charger so that I'm not on my phone all night. What else? She was a grandmother. Like she was a grandmother. Of course she's going to let me do some things, but other than that, she was very stern with me. But they removed me from my grandmother's house, and that was the start of foster care, where I entered my first foster home later that day. And I was told that this was going to be a mother baby foster home. And I remember me and Ameerah left. We were like leaving out of the courtroom together, and we got in the car together. And I still have the picture of her. I want to grab when I had time. You actually, I have this book that someone gave me that I still keep on my bookshelf. And there's a picture of her in the car seat the day that we left court together. And I assumed that we were going to a mother baby home together. And they said that, oh yeah, she'll come to you later, whatever, you'll go there tonight and then we'll figure this all out. And there was one of many, many lies. So I went to my first foster home, and it was a lady there, and I came in and I'm just like, my name's Ameerah, hi, whatever. I sit down at the dining room table, and she's in the kitchen, and she doesn't really say anything to me. And then she's like, your baby's going to be coming here, don't worry, don't be sad, whatever, whatever. And she went upstairs. Everybody went upstairs, and I'm still just sitting here. So I'm sitting and sitting and sitting, and I'm just like, well, what's next? Like this is my first time in foster care, so I'm not sure of the steps that you take, how you go about living here. So I had yelled up the steps, like, hello, I'm down here. Like, can someone tell me where my room is or something? And she yelled down, like, oh, there's a blow up bed down there, just blow it up. I'm like, a blow up bed. And I pull out the blow up bed. I blow up the blow up bed, and I'm like, okay, maybe she's gonna get my room together or whatever. And then the morning time comes, and I didn't even think to deflate the blow up bed. I don't know. She was like, you need to deflate the blow up bed and put it back in the box. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I really am gonna go to my room. Like, you know, why would I even sleep in the blow up bed anyway? Like it was very strange. So the next day I came, and I'm sitting there again, and I'm like, when, like, when are you going to show me to my room? Like my stuff is still sitting here in trash bags. I need to know what we're doing here. And I was never told anything. And then from that point forward, I realized the blow up bed was for me. And one day she told me, she said, yes, yeah, so um, I had showed them my daughter's room. I showed them my daughter's room. I put a bassinet in my daughter's room, and I told them, this is where you and your daughter will sleep. Don't you want your daughter back? Don't you want your daughter to come here? And I'm just like, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. It was roaches. I've never lived with roaches. It was roaches in there, and I'm sleeping on a blow up bed. Where's my baby gonna sleep? Um, it was just very, like, I didn't understand. And then the last straw for me was I was sleeping in the living room on the blow up bed, and I'm sleeping right in front of the door, the front door. And a man comes in the house, and he lays right next to me, drunk.
Mm.
I'm 13. This is a grown, drunk man, and he just lays right next to me, and it was just nothing. And she's just like, "Oh, that's my brother." Like this is a normal situation. So I I went down. I had a visit that day to meet with Ameerah. So I told my caseworker, and I'm like, I sleep on this blow up bed, and there's roaches, and I'm this guy was sleeping in the bed with me, and she didn't believe me, and I'm just like arguing. She was like, okay, if you want to move, I'll move you. You know, you'll move out tomorrow. So I had to go back and just stay one more day there. And I remember, I'm like, you have to like, I'm like, I'm gonna be home from school on time. Like, you have to pick me up, excuse me, before she gets here. Cause I'm like, I don't know what this lady would do to me. Like, I was just so scared. I'm like, you have to pick me up. You have to pick me up. So she gets, excuse me, she gets there before my foster mom gets there. And I'm like, hanging the blow up bed outside. Like, you see the blow up bed? Like, I wasn't lying to you. And I just grab all of my trash bags and I'm just running out the house, like making a dash for it. Like, so, and then I moved to another foster home, which I had a room this time. But, oh God, you know, when they say the grass isn't green, like the grass isn't always greener, the grass just got more and more dry and brittle and crumbly and just I moved to this next foster home and I'm there for a couple months and when I'm there off off the bat, day one. It's no way that these people come into these houses, clear these houses and say that this is humane enough to bring a child, a child that already has trauma, that's already been let down, that already comes from what kind of environment they come from, and then they're put into these homes, and this is what's best for them. It's no way. Immediately, I walk into the kitchen. She walks me into the kitchen. I put my bags down. She walks me into the kitchen. She says, "This is the food. Help yourself." She seemed like a nice lady. So she opens the refrigerator. Roaches running in the refrigerator. Open the refrigerator. Help yourself. It's like, does she not see the roaches? Like, is it just me? Am I just seeing a bunch or no? So she takes me upstairs to my room, and okay, all right, maybe it's just the roaches in the kitchen. And I stayed there for a couple months. It was roaches everywhere. I remember I would wake up and get in the shower. I would have to take the shower hose and spray the roaches down because they would be all in the top. She had like a walk-in shower. They'd be all at the top of the shower. So sometimes I wouldn't even want to wash because I was just so embarrassed. And I mean, so embarrassed. I was just so scared and so disgusted. I
Mm.
just didn't want to get in the shower. And another, so the roaches, oh my God. I feel like the last straw for that foster home for me was I was asleep and I woke up to a roach crawling up my arm and one crawling up the side of my face, one into my ear. And I'm just like feel it. And the roach went crawling up, and I'm like, oh my God, it was bad. And I wake up and I call my grandmom, and my grandmom is well, my grandma passed, but she was my best friend. She definitely she held down the fort. So I called my grandmom and I'm just like, please stay on the phone with me, like please stay on the phone with me. And she just like sleep, but she's like, oh no, I'm up, like talk to me. She just was so encouraging. Um, she was the best. So I got up and I left for school that day. Oh, I forgot about the part when I was in school and a roach crawled out of my bag
Oh my
in
goodness.
the classroom. That couldn't be more embarrassing. But yeah, so my grandma stayed on the phone with me. I left. I came back, and the lady is like yelling at me, like, "Oh, you think my house is nasty? You think I have roaches? I have to spray down roaches." She said, "I have all these kids I have to take care of. Of course, I'm going to have more food in here, so of course there's going to be roaches." I never equated more food with roaches. Like you don't go into a supermarket and there's tons and tons of food and there's just roaches crawling around. Like no, that's not normal. So I she yelled at me and she was like, I'm so happy you're getting out anyway. You've been nothing but a bother. She just was like really like very mean. And I'm just like, oh wow, okay. Because you have roaches, you're mad at me. So I packed up all my things, on to my next foster home. And this was the third foster home. And it actually got a little bit better at this one. There was no roaches. I had my own room. It was in a very nice area, beautiful house in Sharon Hill. And it was great. It couldn't be a better situation. Couldn't be. But the lady, she was an older lady, and she was very, very bitter. She was very bitter. She would always call me fat. I remember I was on the phone with my sister, and I'm like, Ali, you have to listen to this lady. Like, she's crazy. Like, she literally would just walk past me and be like, you are just so fat. Like, why don't you lose weight, or why don't you work out, or why don't you stop eating? And I'm like, I'm literally eating the meals that you prepare for me. Like, you don't give me money to go out and buy snacks or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm literally eating whatever you prepare for me. And she just really was always down talking to me. But I was on the phone with my sister one time and she was like, "You fat AB." And I'm just like, I'm a child. Like I'm a child. And she just I don't know. She was crazy. And I stayed there for a few months. And I remember when I was leaving there, I did not want to leave there. I was like totally fine with being called fat. At least I didn't live with roaches. At least I had my own room. I could walk out and walk around the block if I wanted to. Like, despite her anger and her, being so rude to me, I was like, listen, I've been hit with way more. I'm totally cool with it. So one morning, she used to make this fruit cake because she wanted to make sure that I always passed my bowels. She had this obsession with me going to the bathroom. So she would make this fruit cake, and I would have fruit cake, a granola bar, and a cup of juice for breakfast. I came down. It was usually like a nice little slither of the fruit cake. She gave me like a huge chunk. I'm just like, wow, she's been very nice today. I got two granola bars, and then she poured the cup of juice into like a reusable cup, so I could take it with me. And I'm just like, maybe she's changing. And she sat there on the steps and watched me, and she was just like, "I hope you have a great day. You know, um, I hope you have a great day." And usually it's like, I'll pick you up at this time. Because she used to pick me up. I'll pick you up at that time, pick you up at this time. Just have a great day, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I had therapy. So she actually sent the van to get me. Like the van came and got me from school instead of her getting, I'm sorry, not therapy. I was going to have a visit with Ameerah. So the van came and got me and took me there to have my visit with Ameerah. So when I get there to the visit, I see all these trash bags. And I just was like, okay, like why are these trash bags in our visitation room? But I didn't pay no attention. And that was that was them letting me know that she no longer wanted me to live there. And she kicked me out. She didn't even say bye. She didn't explain why she wanted me out, but she kicked me out. And then that was the end of